Last week, I asked the community to vote on my next read, and this was the overwhelming winner. All over my YouTube and Instagram, this was by far the most popular choice. Now, I've done my best to avoid all spoilers, so I'm really going into this series with no expectations. The only thing I've heard is it's kind of a mix of the Hunger Games meets a futuristic Roman Empire, but other than that, I'm pretty much going in blind. But with this video, I'm gonna do something that I have not done before. I'm going to do a reading vlog, where I take you all with me on my journey to Mars. Now, with that being said, this video is going to contain spoilers for book 1 of Red Rising. Now, even though I'm probably one of the few people that has not read this series yet, just be mindful, I will be talking about plot points and twists, so please keep that in mind. Now, I do plan on doing a more structured review of the book that is spoiler-free, so be sure to check that out if you do not want to hear any spoilers. Now, let's crack open this book and see if Darrow's story is worth the hype. All right, so quick update. I am on page 24. I can definitely see the parallels between this and the Hunger Games. I like the gritty atmosphere. It definitely shows the harsh reality of their lifestyle. Being a red is obviously very tough. I do like that Darrow is a hell diver, which of course immediately brings up the game Helldivers. I also like the use of dance in this series. I know there is the forbidden dance, which I think is cool. I don't think I've ever heard or read of another series that uses dance and song quite like this so far. I know it's early, only 24 pages in, but I like that so far. Now, the vibe that I'm getting from the characters, obviously it's hard to say this early on, but I'm definitely noticing that the author is really laying it on heavy that Darrow loves his wife, Ao. I mean, it feels like every other paragraph he's talking about how much he loves her, how beautiful she is, and I feel like that is a trap. I've told that this book is gonna be heartbreaking and emotional, but just based on the writing and the cues for the early plot, I have a feeling that something not good is gonna happen to his wife. Maybe she gets kidnapped or something like that. Hopefully she doesn't die. I am a little worried she's gonna die. Because he is just laying it on real thick that Darrow loves his wife. If you want to give a character a badass background, he's full of revenge and hatred, which I've heard that this book is like that, and Darrow is that kind of character, he obviously has to have some kind of tragic background. Now, being a red obviously is terrible, right? So they're basically slaves. They mine helium-3, I believe it is, and then all of the other colors above them basically kind of treat them like dirt, red dirt. But I don't get the vibe that Darrow is a woe is me, I'm a red character. He has not really shown that at all in the beginning of this book. So with that being said, I think the author is going to have to give him a tragic backstory. So I'm a little worried that his wife, something terrible is going to happen to his wife. These are kind of the clues that I'm getting so far. So I will catch you guys in a little bit when I get a little bit farther into this book. I knew it. Somebody in the comments said on my Instagram that this was going to be emotional disembowelment, and I am starting to understand why. Just finished chapter 5, I'm on chapter 6 right now. I knew the author was laying it on really heavy that Darrow loves Ao. Like every other paragraph was, she's so beautiful. Ao's as beautiful as can be. Like, I love her so much. My love for her. I just knew he was setting us up for a trap. So, wow. Chapter 5 was pretty intense. The whole scene of him getting lashed and then her getting, hanged was intense. I knew something was coming. I knew it. Also, this Poginus, I hate that guy. Just his name. Timony Poginus. That's just a name that was very well crafted so that you hate that guy. You know what I mean? So I don't like him. I'm not really sure where this is going to go. I know that, obviously a rebellion happens. I'm going to assume that Darrow is pissed about Ao being killed. We'll see. So, wow. You guys were right. 5 chapters in, and I already hate half the people in this book. I think I'm going to pin it there. I'm just chilling here. Got my little coffee here that I slurp down really fast because this was very intense. Okay, I will catch you guys later today, hopefully. Okay, bye. What's going on, everybody? It is day 3 of the Red Rising reading vlog. I did not get as much reading done yesterday as I was hoping to, but today is a new day. So my wife and I are gonna hit up a coffee shop, get some pages down, and then maybe check out a bookstore or two. There's my wife's fingers. She's not ready to be on camera yet. I'll check you guys later. We decided to check out one of my favorite bookstores in Orlando, Bright Light Books. They have a crazy big selection of used and new books, including shelf upon shelf of fantasy and sci-fi books, paperback and hardback. Now, I was actually on the hunt to complete my Wheel of Time original artwork hardcover series, and I found 3 that just so happened to be first edition, first prints. Honestly, it was a crazy find. My favorite part of the store is the glass case section holding all of the super rare, valuable books from first editions, signed series. There was also a first edition second printing Red Rising book there. Huge shout out to Bright Light Books. Check them out if you're in the Central Florida area, and apologies to my wallet. Okay, we're back. We have a lot to catch up on. I finally got some pages down today. Day 1, day 2, only got like 40 pages total, which is not very good. We just had so much going on with the family and kids, but day 3, today, we finally got some pages down. We are now on page 144. You can see that. And wow, a lot has happened. Let's start with Darrow, the main man. I initially thought that Darrow was going to become a son of Ares, which I guess he has, technically. But I was expecting him to kind of join out of desperation or kind of get pulled in out of desperation after Ao's death. And he was going to work his way up through the ranks and then lead the Son of Ares at some point. I didn't think it was going to be book 1, but that's kind of the plot that I was expecting. That is not what happened. I was nowhere expecting him to basically be remade and remodeled into a gold. I also thought that golds were just normal humans, but in a higher caste, right? I didn't think that humanity had really diversified genetically, which they obviously have. I didn't know that golds were basically like superhuman humans. So definitely I was not expecting that. I also really liked the fact that the color casts were kind of more expanded on with the violets and the pinks and the purples and the browns and, you know, even pixies and bronzes. I like that. I really like that he's gotten more into it, right? The setting has really just kind of opened up for me. I thought that it was just Earth and Mars. I thought that Earth was like many sci-fi series tropes. Earth was, you know, oversaturated, all the resources had been used, and Mars was like the new frontier, right? Which it kind of is. But I thought that it was just Earth and Mars and the moon. So I thought that most of the book and the series is going to take place on Mars. Now, I had originally thought, you know, I think there's like 7 books in this series. I thought that they were gonna all take place on Mars, Earth, and the moon. So I was kind of interested to see how they would kind of bounce between the different worlds, but I was very wrong. When Darrow first went up the lift and saw how terraformed Mars was, and he was told that there were 1,000 cities on Mars alone, and they had terraformed all the small moons and most of the planets, it really kind of opened up the setting for me, and it made it feel more sci-fi, I guess. So the setting for this book really finally opened up for me, which is very cool. It makes me more excited to kind of dive into the journey that Darrow is about to go on. With that being said, Darrow turning into a gold and then going into the Institute to basically become a gold and then move up to, like a general and a space captain and things like that. That is not the future I saw for Darrow, at least in book 1. The Institute for me kind of came out of nowhere. We were underground in Mars, mining and dying in our early 30s. And now we're in kind of a Harry Potter situation. When they were choosing the houses, I literally thought of Harry Potter and like being chosen with the hat into like Slytherin and Gryffindor. Obviously, this is a much more adult version. Did not know that this book was gonna go that way. I'm happy that we did not just travel down the Mars Rebellion, just join the Son of Ares and be basically like a rebel from the outskirts of Mars, right? Maybe working our way into the main city of Mars. I did not know that Mars was going to be completely terraformed, thousands of planets. I did not know that that was the extent. I just recently finished chapter 19, The Passage. If you have read this series, you probably already know the passage that I'm about to talk about. You know, when they were put into their dormitories and it was a very lush room with the pinks coming to massage them and stuff like that, I just thought that was like gold standards of living, right? Which I guess it is, but I guess that's what the school wanted them to think. I knew it wasn't going to be easy on these gold students, gold children, but I was not expecting him to be dragged out of bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning and forced to murder one of his classmates that he had just met, who seemed really cool, to be honest. I mean, Julian just seemed like the plucky younger brother of Cassius. And the last sentence of chapter 19 was crazy. So, I mutter my wife's name as I fall to cradle his head. His face has become like a blood blossom. Crazy. Intense, sad. I feel bad for Darrow, so we'll see. So I'm only a little bit ahead of that. So I'm actually, so page 144, so I'm actually in chapter 20, right? So right into part 3. So I'm curious to see. So I know right where I'm at now is he had just linked up with Roke. So he hasn't seen Cassius yet, and I'm worried about when he sees him. If I'm going to make a prediction, I think that Darrow and Cassius are going to become friends, but Darrow's going to hide the fact that he killed Julian. But later on, Cassius is going to find out, and we'll see where that leads. Maybe Cassius and him will become like mortal enemies, and then it moves to the plot like that. Not sure. Just some other like minor cool things is, I can't remember what page it's on. I wish I could find it, but he mentions that he's kind of in like a VR headset-ish, like an augmented reality, and he's in Osgiliath, with Lord of the Rings Osgiliath. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about, but that was a cool little Easter egg. And then, so Evie, or Evie, not sure, the pink with the wings that Mickey owns, basically. The last line of page 95, be kind to Evie, Mickey. Don't make her dance. Give her a plush life or I'll come back to pull your hands off your body. Badass line. Oh, that brings up another point. There is a female who has been mentioned twice, but not named. The first time is when Darrow was learning how to ride, he fell off the horse, and she called him a pixie and then rode off. The second time is when Darrow stumbled upon her undressing in like a public dressing room or a locker room. But they haven't named her yet as far as I know. I'm a little curious to see who that is, because if the author is alluding to her twice, still hasn't named her, she's going to be important. I wonder if that's going to be possibly, I know Darrow's wife just died, right? This is only a couple months after his wife's passing. I wonder if that's maybe Darrow's future love interest. You know, I've thought about with 7 books how Darrow might fall in love again. I guess we'll see, but that's my first intuitional spark after reading about that girl, is maybe that's going to be his kind of love interest. So maybe we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be totally wrong. If you've read this book, you're probably laughing at me because you're like, Blake, you idiot. Why would you think that? So we are in chapter 20 and we're going to keep going. I'll check back up with you guys. Hopefully I won't let 100 pages go before I check in, but I really, really wanted to like get into this book. So probably check in a little bit more often now, but this book is really good. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Okay, bye. Okay, outfit change. We are about to go to my nephew's birthday party, but I wanted to just catch up on my reading for the day. I have gotten to page 206, so read about 70 pages today overall. I've been sneaking in some reading any chance I can get with this book, so we're making progress, So first off, we hate Titus. Titus is a piece of crap, and his group are just more pieces of craps. I don't know. We just don't like Titus, but we'll see. I mean, it's early, so maybe he'll turn around, but right now we just don't like him. But on the flip side, I have a new favorite character finally. His name is Severo, my man Severo. He is a sneaky little bastard, and I love the whole wolf living in the forest alone aesthetic. I'm a big fan of wolves. It's funny, when I was a kid, like in early elementary school, when people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, it was not a doctor
or a firefighter or an astronaut. I always said I wanted to be a wolf. Definitely didn't get to achieve that dream, but I'm living through Severo right now, and so far it's pretty cool. Also, his nickname Goblin is awesome because I am a huge fan of the Black Company series of books, and there's a character in that series named Goblin who I really like, so every time I see that name, I think about that series. I don't know if anyone else has read that series. It's not very popular on BookTube, maybe because it's older, but I never seen anybody talk about the Black Company series. But if you've read those series, let me know for sure in the comments. Goblin was also kind of a small guy, very crafty and shifty, but he was a magic user, so not exactly parallel, but Severo reminds me of Goblin from the Black Company a lot, and he has the same nickname, so pretty cool. I like how the book has developed into basically war games between the houses, which I was, again, not expecting at all. This book just keeps throwing curveballs at me. Thought we'd get like a detailed first year for Darrow and then maybe kind of fast forward through the next couple years. I wasn't really sure where this book is gonna go because there's 7 books in the series, right? This is sick. The war games between the houses is awesome. I hope it lasts for a while. I hope they just don't, you know, continue to capture 1 or 2 houses and then just kind of fast forward through the rest of it. I think this is really cool. Not what I was expecting at all. And I'm wondering, is this it for school? Is it just this war game and then that's it? Is that all the Institute is? I'm just not really sure where it's gonna go quite yet. I'm really happy with the cast of characters that we have right now among Darrow's house and then some of the, you know, characters in the other houses. We finally have a name for the girl that has been teased a couple times in the series, Virginia or Mustang, which is a sick name. There's a lot of cool names in this series. I don't know if that's like a love interest because right now they're like fighting each other and it kind of feels like Mustang's kind of just gonna go away. Maybe she'll die. I hope she doesn't die. But yeah, so we finally have a name for her, which is cool. I was wondering when we were gonna find out who she is, and now we finally do. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Not sure what's gonna happen with Cassius, with finding out that Darrow killed Julian. I'm assuming that he's gonna find out. I think he's gonna find out maybe near the end of the book, and then into book 2, we'll kind of get more, you know, more conflict between Cassius and Darrow. I'm not sure. I think Cassius is gonna end up being some kind of nemesis to Darrow in the future, but we're still waiting to see how that goes. Right now, they're like really cool brothers, which is cool. I'm always down for some bromance, and it's cool that Darrow has like a friend, you know what I mean? Even though these are golds, I like that he doesn't just innately hate everybody. And again, I think I mentioned this earlier in the vlog, that everyone's just kind of a child of circumstance. Some of these people are pieces of crap and probably are getting what, you know, they deserve. But on the other hand, characters like Julian and Cassius, Mustang, you know, they're not innately evil people, but they come from a cast that is probably seen as evil by many of the other colors. But yeah, that's what I got so far. So we're on page 206. We're about to start chapter 27. The House of Rage. Very excited. This book has been awesome so far. You guys were definitely right. I've been reading as much as humanly possible, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this book within the next day or 2. All right, I'll catch you guys later.
One thing I was not expecting was just how hard the vlogging process was going to be. I tried so hard to sneak in time to read all throughout the day when I was with my kids, at my desk, in the kitchen. I usually read at night for like an hour before bed, but trying to finish this book in a few days was way harder than I was expecting. And just when I thought I was in a good place with the book, Pierce Brown had other plans.
Titus is a red? What the heck? I was not expecting that. I just finished chapter 28, My Brother, and I thought it was gonna be with Cassius, but it was not. The end of chapter 28, when Darrow finds out that Titus is a red, or was a red, is crazy. What? I thought all the reds that were previously carved into golds ended up dying. So hopefully they tell us more about how Titus got to where he is. Is he another son of Ares and other carvers for the son of Ares that are getting reds into golds as well? And that makes me think, who else is a red? So I thought it was just going to be Darrow. I did not know that Titus was going to be a red. And then Darrow has to kill Titus. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, I feel bad for Darrow. But on the flip side, I don't think he had a choice. You know, I didn't like Titus for the way that he was doing things and, you know, doing things to the other students, but the fact that he was a red makes me feel for him a little more, although he's still kind of a terrible person. But again, I don't know what his circumstances were before all of this, so who knows, it's hard to say.
All right, so it's a little bit after lunchtime. I've just hit part 4, the Reaper. So let's talk about the Jackal. I don't know if he's going to be like the final antagonist for book 1. I know he's the Arch-Governor's son, but what a name. I wonder why his name is the Jackal. It's a pretty cool name, not gonna lie. But I love Darrow's name, the Reaper. And I'm still digging the wolf vibes. I love the howling, the howlers. I just think it's really cool. I was not expecting the war games to devolve into like straight up tribal warfare, but it's definitely keeping me on my toes, so I'm really enjoying it. Severo is still best boy in my opinion. If he dies, I'm gonna be so mad. The fall of Mustang, so Virginia, I still don't know what's gonna happen with her. I thought maybe Darrow and her might become something, just the way that Pierce Brown was introducing her in the beginning of the book as kind of this nameless girl that keeps popping up, and now I'm not sure. So I don't know if she's just kind of fallen by the wayside or if she'll pop up again. I guess we'll see. With that being said, the Fall of Mustang chapter was awesome. The duel with Pax, who is, I think is hilarious that he just says his name over and over again. I love the dueling aspect and Pax being huge and like in armor and a shield, and then Darrow basically like outwitting him and being faster than him and putting the mud in his visor was just really cool. I mean, that was sick. It was kind of a low blow though, and Darrow need him in the privates. Probably not the most honorable way, but I guess when you're fighting for your life in pseudo-tribal warfare, maybe just anything goes, which is fine. And then the tactic with the dead horses when Severo and the other howlers climb out of the sewn up horse corpses. Crazy. I was not expecting that. I think, I can't even imagine what it's like to be sewn up into a corpse. But of course it was Severo who did that. Severo's, he's just the best, man. He's so cool. So I decided to take a break from reading for the day and hit the neighborhood with the boys for a little bike ride / scooter ride because the weather was just amazing. I mean, take a look at this. This is my favorite time of year in Florida. It's like not too cold, not too hot. It's just perfect. But I ended up sneaking a little bit of reading in just to stay ahead of the game. So, lots to cover. So, for one, Mustang is definitely a new love interest for Darrow. I was a little worried that she was kind of disappear or die, but the fact that she picked him up after he almost died to Cassius was really cool. So I thought that she was done for, but obviously not. Hopefully everything goes well, because if she dies like Ao dies, man, I feel bad for Darrow. But, maybe that's a catalyst he needs for the next 6 books if he's going to be, Rage incarnate and basically lead this rebellion, right? Also, I find it funny that Pax is back and he's not too upset about his popped testicles. I know I would be pretty pissed, but I think it's funny that he's turned into kind of like a big teddy bear, I guess. And also, where the hell is Severo? I need him to come back. He is my favorite character and he better come back, and he better still be on Darrow's side, because I'd be really mad if he betrays Darrow. The scene where Darrow lashes Tactus and then forces Tactus to lash him back, even though ultimately Pax finishes the job, I thought was brilliant. I did not think that was going to happen. I honestly thought that Darrow was going to kill Tactus because that's what happened to Titus. That was very good writing, a good twist, and I can see now that Darrow is truly earning the respect of his army, essentially his pseudo army. But that leads me to think that where all of this goes after the Institute, because all these students with Darrow are from different houses, so how does that work? Does he win and then all the students under him also get apprenticeships? Or how is this going to continue after school? Is he going to keep up with these people? We're not really sure how that's going to go. And I feel like later on, the rebellion that Darrow leads is probably going to consist of all of the other colors, the obsidians, the grays, the pinks, the purples. I think that at the end, he's going to be leading essentially a multicolored rebellion against the golds. And now finally, since Darrow is essentially making friends with some of these golds like Severo and Mustang, are they going to turn on their fellow golds later on in the series? Are they even going to still be around in the series? I'm very interested to know how this turns out. Now, with that being said, I have less than 100 pages to go, so I think the next time I check in, this book will be done. So I'm very excited. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, I know I said I was going to check in after the book is done, but there is just so much to unpack. I swear every chapter is just more and more and more. And Mr. Brown, if you could just stop with the twists, I would appreciate it. All right, so I just hit chapter 42, boom bop. War on Heaven, which is an awesome title for a chapter. Where do I even begin? First of all, Severo is back, baby. Best Boy is back, and I am very happy. Although he's missing an eye, which is unfortunate, but I don't think he really cares, to be honest with you. And I think that just fits into the Severo aesthetic that he has one eye now. So I'm cool with it. Also, Fitchner is Severo's dad, which I did not know that. It was cool to see Finchner kind of get a little bit of a human moment, even though Darrow beat the out of him right afterwards. So, you know, I guess we had a moment. Also, chapter 37 at the end where Darrow thinks he's following Mustang, but it's actually the Proctor Apollo. Has this man just not figured out to stop following people in the middle of the night? Because this is like the third time that he's followed somebody that ends up being a trap. So come on, Darrow, get it together, brother. But some big plot changes. I like how the Proctor's cheating essentially to help the Jackal win the games is starting to really ramp up. It looks like all of the Proctors are getting involved, which is crazy. So I don't know what the hell happened to Fitchner after Darrow beat him up, but I guess we'll find out. On a sad note, Pax is dead, which is very unfortunate. I really liked the big, teddy bear kind of character. I think he fit in really well with the group. I'm really sad that he is dead. And then Lucien being the Jackal was a crazy twist. I knew something was going on when Darrow really wanted to talk to this kid, like one-on-one. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then Darrow wanting everybody to get drunk all of a sudden. And then I remembered after all of this that they had mentioned that, I think it was Severo was disappointed that Bacchus's wine was not actually wine, it was just grape juice, but for some reason I didn't remember that, so he started telling everybody to get drunk, which is very out of character. So it definitely kind of fooled me too. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. But man, Darrow putting the knife through Lucien's hand onto the table, and then he cuts his own hand off. What? Like, that's crazy. And then Pax, why did Pax give him that ion blade? If he never have given that ion blade, Pax might still be alive. Rest in peace, brother. I really liked Pax. I'm very sad that he died. With that being said, if Severo ends up dying towards the end of this book, because I'm almost at the end, so there's not much time left in this book, but if Severo dies, I swear I'm going to send a strongly worded email to Mr. Brown saying, how could you? I think Pierce Brown does a really good job at ending chapters. I don't know if that makes sense, but every chapter just ends with like a cliffhanger or like a oh shit kind of moment. And the end of chapter 40 where Darrow is showing all the gold sigils to Lucien at the end, and he's like, oh, well, I'm missing a Pluto. And then he looks up and he said, oh, there's one. Like, that's such a cool ending to a chapter. And at the end of chapter 41, where Darrow says, we are going to take Olympus now, just got me all kinds of giddy. I thought the end of the games was just going to be him capturing the Jackal or killing the Jackal finally. And then that would kind of be it. And then we'd see like the aftermath of the drafters and the proctors and see like what's going to happen. Everybody knows that the proctors have been cheating. I thought the rest of the book was going to kind of be the aftermath of that. And obviously I am wrong. So the fact that we're now about to wage war on the proctors in Olympus is awesome. And I just cannot wait. With that being said, for sure this time, the next time I check in, I will be done with this book. I only have maybe 30 pages left, so I'm about to finish for sure. So I will catch you guys tomorrow with the rest of the video. Wow. So I have officially finished book 1, Red Rising, and wow, what a roller coaster. Let's just cover the last 30 pages real quick, and then I'll get into talking about my review for the book, how the vlogging process went, and just how much I enjoyed the book overall. So as expected, the assault on Olympus was awesome. I was not expecting that to be the end. I thought, as I mentioned in my previous recording, that Darrow was going to beat the Jackal and that was going to be the end of book 1. I was not expecting him to besiege Olympus and basically put all of the proctors in their place. I love the imagery of where they found each proctor, one in the bath, one in the bed. I think that's hilarious. It was pretty cool that some of the proctors got to fight back and actually show like how powerful they were and what kind of gear they had. Jupiter was kind of a beast, which was cool. I was hoping that they weren't going to find all the proctors just kind of, you know, not expecting an attack at all. Also, Mustang is Jackal's sister. There was some cues about that they were related near the end of the book, but I didn't know for sure that it was his sister, and now we know for sure. I am very happy that Mustang did not betray Darrow as far as we know. I mean, this is just book 1, but I know that Darrow was kind of prepping for the Jackal and Mustang to come and siege Olympus, and I was really gearing up for that kind of final showdown. But then I kind of realized that it was a final chapter, right? Chapter 44, Rise, was the last chapter, and I'm like, is this book going to end on a cliffhanger of Mustang and the Jackal sieging Olympus? And then we have to wait for book 2 to see that. I'm happy that Pierce Brown just immediately in chapter 44 was like, nope, Mustang's still good. She's on Darrow's side. And then we moved on to the dropships and all of the drafters coming to see the students. Now the final couple pages, which the Arch Governor Augustus takes Darrow under his wing. I mean, what an ending. What an ending to the book. It feels just like full circle from Ao's death and the Arch Governor watching her hang, and now Darrow is under his wing. And best news of all, Severo is still alive for book 1. He better stay alive for the rest of the series, but for book 1, he made it out, so I'm very happy about that. Now, with that being said, I'm really interested to see how the next couple books go. I mean, Darrow has his lieutenants in this War Games, but now what happens? You know, like, where do they all go? The Arch Governor said that some of them are going to go to the Moon Lords, to Luna, to the Gas Giants, but when are they going to see each other again? Is Darrow going to see Mustang soon? I mean, I know that Darrow is now under her father, but what does that mean for Mustang? Overall, I loved this book. I knew it was going to be a good one. It's been very popular, but popularity doesn't always mean, you know, that it's going to be a fantastic read. I just heard so many good things from trusted sources that I just knew that the book had to be good. And wow, it did not disappoint. In terms of best book 1s of a series, I think this one is definitely up there among the best. It was just a roller coaster of a read, so many twists, so many turns. There's so many moments where I was just sad at, you know, turns of events or what Darrow had to go through. For example, killing Julian. Even at the end of the book, that chapter of Darrow killing Julian and cradling his head still stuck with me. I think that's a scene in a book that's going to stick with me for a while. That one definitely was, for me, the saddest moment of the book. Now, following up with that, Pax dying is definitely up there as well. My boy Pax, he's our big friendly giant. So sad to see him go, but the way he protected Darrow and died with a smile on his face was just such a good farewell to Pax. Also, Roke is still alive, which is awesome. I want to see more of that character. I really enjoyed his presence in the early parts of the book before he kind of disappeared and Darrow kind of went on this whole gaining an independent army excursion. I'm excited to see where Roke's character goes in the future books. Overall, this book was really good. Honestly, like on a scale of 1 to 5, this is like a 5-star book. And I've heard that all of the other books just keep getting better. So if they're better than this one, I can only imagine how great this series is as a whole. Now, I wanted to share some thoughts about my vlogging process. This is my first time vlogging anything. I've never recorded myself reading before. And I will say that the vlogging process was kind of a double-edged sword for me. It had me really inspired and wanting to read, but it also made me a little nervous because this is the first time that I had to read a book and then kind of report back to people on what I read. Other than, you know, like school projects and stuff when I was in like high school, but this was the first time that I had to read not just for pleasure, but also to review a book. And I also underestimated just how difficult recording myself reading this book was gonna be. You know, usually when I read, I just read at night in bed, maybe for like an hour or so, and then I go to sleep. I tried my best to read in every little nook and cranny of time over the last 5 days that I could, you know, in the car, coffee shops, my lunch break, in bed, in the morning. That is something that I don't do at all. So it was definitely weird. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the vlogging process. If this video does well, I'm planning on vlogging each book in the series. Now, I already have books 2 and 3 ready to go, so if that's something that you guys want to see, let me know in the comments for sure. At the end of it all, what a crazy book. I want to thank everybody for the recommendation. Again, this was by far the most voted book on my Instagram and my YouTube. I can see why. I officially feel like I'm part of the Red Rising club now. I know I just finished book 1 and I got a long way to go, but I feel like I finally understand what everybody has been talking about. With that being said, that is going to be it for me for my book 1 of Red Rising vlog. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the next one.